So, today's episode of Take a Seat is all about social value in construction and how the built environment can deliver lasting impact for communities as well as commercial success. Joining us to share his insight is Kris Sparks. Kris is the pre-construction director at Robertson Construction Tayside, where he leads the development of major projects across Scotland, from early concept through to contract award. With over 2 decades of experience in the construction industry, Kris specialises in shaping sustainable developments that create long-term social value alongside strong commercial outcomes. Throughout his time with Robertson, he's played a key role in driving collaborative procurement, engaging local supply chains and embedding responsible business practices, all part of a wider commitment to delivering positive environmental and social impact. In today's conversation, we'll explore why social value is such a priority for the Robertson Group, the importance of investing in local workforce and supply chains, and how this approach delivers real return on investment. We'll also look at some powerful case studies and discuss the importance of partnerships, including work with Abertay University, in supporting business development and creating opportunities at a local level. So, Kris, take a seat. Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you, Alison. Thanks for having me this morning. It's great to be here and take part in the podcast series. It's really, really important for Robertson, to be active in the local community. We consider ourselves a real kind of anchor organisation within, Dundee and the local area. And we really understand the needs, the challenges that people face, living in this location. And we really kind of work hard, we strive to do as much as we can to make kind of a positive change and support the positive change others are trying to bring. Our people, our staff, our team, our supply chain, they're all live, in Dundee, surrounding areas, they work here, they socialise here. And collectively, as I say, we want to see that local community really thrive. Myself, I was born in Dundee. I've lived in and around the city, my whole life. And all of our staff, live within kind of 40 mile of, our regional headquarters. And over 50% of those same team members have went on to further education within the local institutions, Dundee and Angus College, University Abertay, and Dundee. So it's really important for us to be here, to be active and contribute.
I mean, you're a super chamber member, and I think that's evidenced whether it's that you get involved in our local awards, and we're not even going to talk about that today, but from the awards to even things like, when the Dundee partners put on the Meet the Buyer event, I know how busy you guys were at something like that. So that kind of local impact is hugely important. But if we don't have firms like Robertson driving construction and that someplace for the supply chain to work with, then we just don't have a kind of an industry in that in regard. So you guys, and you're very good at coming to events and kind of getting involved. So it's brilliant to kind of have you so engaged. So tell us a wee bit more about that, the kind of the ways that you are involved in the community then.
I mean, we try to be involved in as many ways as we can. Myself with my original kind of quantity surveying hat on, procurement hat. For me, that starts with our local supply chains. It's how we look to engage with them, develop, nurture the local supply chains to make sure we've got all the skills, the capabilities to deliver, the not only the major projects that we seek to deliver, but also, the small works, and we'll probably touch on some of them later. All of that for us is focused on avoiding, economic leakage from the local area. We tend to focus all of our spend profile on, within 10 miles of the site initially, within 40 miles, local authority area, Scotland, is that kind of final resort. And as I say, really trying to avoid any economic leakage out with, the country first and foremost. That's the kind of local spend element. The wider development and nurturing the supply chain is looking to develop the skills and the workforce again, so we can make sure the all the labour, the trades are coming from the local area. We're making sure people are taking home that the salary, the wages, are spending it locally and really contributing. And a huge part of that for us is our kind of apprenticeship programme that we run with our supply chain, through the trades, joiners, electricians, bricklayers, but also ourselves through our kind of graduate apprentice route, where we're really kind of keen to develop our own people, bring people in either directly from school or early college stages, develop them in the workplace on day release, and we've had some great success with team members coming through really strong, off the back of that process. So that's where it starts for us. Other elements of that is our kind of charitable donations that we make within the city and wider area. We have 2 charity partners every year that we put to a kind of shortlist option amongst our staff and our team. A final vote goes to our staff, and effectively we pick 2 partners every year. Over the last few years, charities such as Dundee Burns, Tayside Cancer Support, and Alzheimer's Scotland, with their Dundee Dementia Centre, have benefited from that, in the region of £11,000 to £12,000 per annum per partner. So really strong there. We kind of generate that funding, or the charitable donation funding, if you like, through our annual charity golf day, which is always a great success. We host that at Downfield Golf Club. So again, very close to us, with our headquarters being, literally a pitching wedge away from the course. But we're always really keen to engage the staff. So we have sponsored events throughout the years, the charity quizzes, the Christmas jumper day, all of that sort of money that's raised goes towards that funding. So it's really important for us. Over the last kind of 3 years, since 2023, we're approaching £300,000 worth of charitable donations and in-kind support, to the local kind of charity sector. So it's something that we're really proud of, having delivered that.
Yeah, I think in my job, I'm lucky that I kind of get to engage with businesses and projects in lots of different things. And I can remember when I think you came and presented, and I've heard Jane present as well, about the impact of the most recent high school and that community campus that was built in Dundee. But those kind of investments that you make and the impact across a project like that are really quite incredible, aren't they? Whether it's thinking about, getting young girls engaged in construction in completely different ways, or, as you said, working with the different supply chains, and even things like the Community Wishes portal in Dundee is, that can be quite innovative in helping firms like you just work out what are the things that you could kind of get involved in, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's clear, we can't, do the whole delivery, of that ourselves. We need partners involved. Dundee City Council, Angus Perth Council, through their Wishes portal are a great tool for us to identify, the charities and the organisations that really need that support. And we're so really kind of well intertwined, I think, with them, organisations to understand where the barriers to people are, and living locally, we understand the challenges of child poverty, of drug addiction, homelessness, in the city, and we're always keen to really support those targeted charities for the city and local area, benefit.
So we've talked a little bit about some of the specific projects that you have been involved in. You talked about Dundee Burns a wee bit, but tell us about some of the things like Doof Studios and Broughty. How do you get involved in some of these projects, and what have they meant?
Sure, yeah. So Change Centre Dundee, Alison, I think I first met Kyle Fraser from the team there back in 2024. I think it was actually a chamber event. And Kyle and the team, they speak so passionately about what they do. You do feel yourself drawn in very quickly to wanting to support. So we had some initial conversations in 2024. Let's look to see how we can support, a bit of a long-term partnership. And one of the first events that Kyle and the team were putting on was the Euro 2024 Fan Park, which was a really positive, family-friendly event, no alcohol. It was all about fun and engaging the family. And I think at the time, Kyle, and the team, they were just struggling a little bit with the funding for that and some of the logistics. So we very quickly got involved. We made a contribution ourselves. We spoke to some of our local supply chain, to also support commercially. We arranged for the fencing, the signage to be, delivered, erected, and made sure that the event was viable from a logistics point of view. So that was really the first engagement. And as I touched on, the kind of longer strategic conversation started to develop there. Kyle had kindly let us know that they were looking at a really exciting project where they had the backing of Dundee and international DJ Hannah Lang, behind the programme, working in partnership with an organisation from Edinburgh called Turn the Tables. They had the idea to convert a former changing room into a DJ and music studio, but they didn't really have the understanding of the building warrant process, how would we actually physically make it work. So that's where that real in kind support that we can bring came in. We allocated one of our design managers to go along, understand the brief, help take that to a building control application. And through Dundee City Council's community wish portal, we'd selected that requirement to deliver for the change centre, and really successfully, short period of time, we managed to achieve building warrant. We managed to agree landlord consent with the ultimate owner of the change centre, and we developed that project ready to go into construction. Again, it was one we'd invested in. We didn't want anyone else to secure the next stage of that through the Community Wishes portal. So we selected, that project as well. And over the next kind of 3-4 months, we helped, deliver that. Again, working closely with our supply chain, to turn that empty, cold changing room space into a kind of state-of-the-art music and DJ facility now, which, understand is getting great traction at the centre. So that's been a real exciting project for us to see, from start to finish.
Yeah, love it. And the work that you do with Broughty and some others, I mean, you said earlier about sort of employability, and sort of sometimes it's beyond that social impact, and it's kind of supporting a bit of employability as well, isn't it? So yeah, tell us a wee bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be remiss of me not first and foremost to make a shameless plug for Jackie and the team down there. If anyone listening hasn't been to the Broughty, I'd say get along and see the facility yourself. It's a cracking location down at the Esplanade and Broughty Ferry, and Jackie and the ladies there serve up fantastic coffee and cake all year round. So certainly get down there and see it. But yeah, our journey with Broughty started with Jane Elder delivering an employability program with some of the ladies there who maybe experienced some barriers to into full-time work or education. Jane had been along there, giving some kind of confidence to the ladies, taking them through employability, interview techniques, all that really important stuff to set people on the right journey. That was the initial conversations, and that then led on to understanding some of Jackie's longer term plans, which was to take a pretty cold, uninviting space and turn that into a more welcoming interior setting, and through that conversation, and again through Dundee City Council's wishes portal, we picked up a project to go in and redecorate the whole inside of the cafe. Again, working with our supply chain partners who really supported that, with time, with paint, with scaffolding and the like. And we've now, helped to create a really welcoming environment. And, we believe, Jackie has had a really strong start to the season, with that more welcoming space. So again, been really, really good for us to see that one working through.
Yeah. And of course, in typical Dundee fashion, where we are literally just like a village, Jackie used to be at Abertay University, and I know you work a lot with Abertay, so we're slightly jumping around here a little bit, but I mean, I think that kind of leads us a bit. So has Cullen have his hooks in you in terms of some of the brilliant projects they're working on?
Yes, so we consider ourselves very fortunate. We secured a 4-year framework, with the University of Abertay last year to deliver a whole suite of small works programmes. So working closely with Cullen Warnock, the Estates Director, and Lee Black, as part of the Estates team. We've been on site now for 11 months. We've delivered the Sports Therapy Lab, which is an excellent space, which has allowed the university to deliver a new kind of sports therapy massage course. We've done a number of fire door replacement schemes today, and we're currently back on site now delivering the graduate school refurbishment. So as a former student of Abertay, having graduated many more years ago than feels possible, it's really good for me to see us securing these works and our team delivering them so well in a really bustling kind of live campus environment.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, when they get involved in projects and look at projects, there's a huge sustainability element to it, isn't there? Which I know chimes completely with the ethos that Robertson have.
It does, yeah, absolutely. It's so important for us as a business. Our sustainable goals, set by the business are clear. We've been climate positive now for a number of years, and actually, through yourselves and the support of the chamber, we were really fortunate last year to receive the award as Green Business of the Year at the British Chamber of Commerce. So we must thank you at the local chamber for your support with that journey.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant to see, and I mean, we've had a project, a long partnership with Zero Waste Scotland, where we've had Circular Tayside running, and I know how valuable construction and the opportunity in terms of circular economy is, but actually how difficult it is in the construction business to kind of really make that commitment and not to order too much or to consider what happens with your waste, or just kind of designing some of those elements. So well done to you guys for actually getting that. And it was great to see you down in London. It was the stock exchange, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was an incredible experience. Fortunately we had Heather there to keep us right, but incredible setting to be in the London Stock Exchange, see the closing ceremony of that, and securing the award, amongst really elite competition, I would say was incredible for our group of businesses and our regional business. Excellent.
No, congratulations.
Thank you.
So there's an awful lot we could be talking about, but we can't run away with the time too much, because as you know, and as our kind of regular listeners will know, we have a set of key questions based on obviously our location here at 37 City Quay. So now it's putting you on the spot a little bit. So tell us, what is the best or the worst piece of advice you've ever actually followed?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate, Alison, like most people, maybe not most, many people, to have had a number of good mentors over the years that have helped shape me as an individual and a professional. One bit of advice that always sticks out was, you have 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Try and listen twice as much as you talk. It's something that I constantly strive to do. I like to listen. I like to plan. Think a response before jumping in. So that's been sound advice, I would say. Yeah.
Brilliant, love it. And what about a completely useless skill that you're really secretly proud of?
Ooh, yeah, that is a tough question. And this one is completely useless. I could probably recite the lyrics to Deacon Blue's Dignity, whereas any other song, I will make up my own lyrics as I attempt to sing in the car.
You can't really call yourself a Dundonian if you can't at least get to about the second verse of Dignity, and then hope that they just, let's just do the chorus again and then we'll all be fine. It's I can remember being at the Caird Hall a few times when they've sung that. There's actually nothing like it, is it?
It's excellent.
It's
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah,
it certainly is. Yeah.
And what about one habit that's made the biggest difference to your work life?
Yeah, so one habit I have changed, over the last few years, possibly since COVID. When I reflect now. It's just trying to get that kind of work-life balance correct as well. So, having a wife and family, to try and switch off, going back into the home at the end of the day. I'm now in the habit of leaving the work phone in the car. It helps to keep that separation, I suppose. But from a work professional perspective, it stops me scanning them late at night, part dealing with an email, thinking I've dealt with it and not really doing so. So that one habit now allows me to be a bit more kind of efficient, I would say, the following day and plan and action accordingly.
Yeah, that's a good one. I bet there'll be a few people that'll be stealing that idea from you. Brilliant. Well, that's a really nice note to end on. Thank you. I've really enjoyed kind of getting the chance to sit and explore some of this with you. So I do really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Alison. That's been a pleasure. Thank you.
It's been incredibly insightful to hear how Robertson is embedding social value into its projects and why that approach is so important, not just for communities, but for long-term business success too. Kris's perspective on investing in local people and supply chains and the real return that brings really highlights the wider impact that the construction industry can have. And the example shared today, from the Change Centre in Doof Studios to Broughty and Dundee Bairns, brings that to life in a really meaningful way. It's clear that by working closely with partners, including institutions like Abertay, and staying connected to the community, the projects can deliver far more than just physical spaces. They can create real, lasting change. Thanks again for your time, Kris, and thank you for taking a seat. More episodes in our podcast are coming soon, so please make sure to keep an eye out for these on our social channels to see who's taking a seat next. Thanks.